This is the Coaching Life Podcast, episode number 156, and this is a very special day. If you're watching Spotify or watching the podcast today, look at this. We are on, for the first time, video podcasting. Good to see you, Pat.
Good to see you, Coach.
Coach. Good to see you, Coach. My bad. Sorry, Corey. Cody. Sorry, Cody. Cody Bale. We're going to call him out because he's the one that told you that I don't call you Coach, and so I'm just calling Cody out right now.
I heard it from several people.
From Team Pat.
That's right. I think now that they can actually see us, we probably lost some viewers. Actually, I can say viewers now.
Already. They're turning it off already. Well, as you can see, I'm actually in our studio today, and you're in a wooden room. You've got wood all around you there. Now,
this is our dining room.
You had some other appointments today. This has been a busy week for both of us. We're not getting our podcast done until Friday, so yeah.
But hey, if this turns out good, it'll be worth the wait.
Monumental. A monumental episode right here.
One step closer to ESPN.
Yeah, watch out, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we may go beyond ESPN.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, how's the weather up there in Athens?
Oh yeah, we got to get that obligatory weather. It's terrible. It's raining today. So
yeah,
I parked right there, right outside the studio, and so I'm keeping my eyes on my truck because I have just enough money in the meter to get us to 2 o'clock. All right, and so you have a meeting at 2 o'clock. So our goal is to be off here. So, but I have seen the meter.
Probably not going to hit.
I've seen the meter guy.
We're not very good at that.
Right, but I've seen
you did?
he's giving tickets. Yeah, he's out there in the daggone rain giving tickets. So these guys are ruthless, man. Absolutely ruthless in this town.
Hey, they're just doing their job, Coach.
You're right. They're doing their job. Squeezing every penny they can from us poor folks that got to park outside here.
Have you seen the video where the guy is looking at a car, and he's like, well, would you look at that? Would you just look at that? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
You don't. Well, anyways, I don't know what his name is, but I was watching one of his videos the other day, and he came up onto a person that gives parking tickets. What is that? A meter maid. I don't know.
I don't know if that's it's probably.
Yeah,
I guarantee that's not the name today. But
yeah, right. But he gets up there and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the lady's like, "Well, read the sign." He's like, "Wait, you're not giving me a ticket, are you?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, you can't park here." And he's like, "Oh, come on, give me a break, come here." And he starts, the confrontation begins, and then he looks down. He's like, "Oh, this isn't in my car. Sorry about that."
Carry on.
Yeah, and she looks at him like, "What?"
Oh boy. Well, since we are limited in time, we probably should get down to business. You think?
Let's get to work.
Got a good show ahead of us today.
Hope so.
Yeah. Now, we are going to talk about. We're going to give. So it's that time of year. I mean, we should bring us in with some Christmas music, really, because it's that time of year, right? For Christmas
That's
music.
true.
We'll have to get on that next week. But I feel like this is the time of year where you make lists and you think about, like, you evaluate, where you've been, where you're going, and it's a list.
What you want,
making a list, checking it twice, things like that.
Commercialized,
exactly.
Event that is Christmas. I like Christmas.
You're getting there. You're coming around. You're coming around. That's right. Chastity's bringing you around. You've probably been you've probably done a little more Christmas shopping than I have.
I bet you haven't.
Okay.
Chastity's.
I've gone 0 times, so I don't know about you.
I've condoned it.
Okay.
Or supported
You've
it.
carried bags and sat in the chairs in the department store watching football.
No, we haven't.
A good dad, good husband.
Been out a lot.
Yeah.
And we've used online shopping a
have
lot over the last few years.
Hey, you don't have to go shopping anymore.
I know, but I miss that. And that's the one thing about the Christmas season, not the one thing. but it's something that I remember from my childhood. And like every once in a while, I just want to go to the mall and just sit in a chair,
Yeah.
eat a pretzel, and watch everyone else freak out about what they need to get for
People
Christmas
watch.
for everyone. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Listen to the
There's
music.
something soothing that,
Well, it probably did you do that when you were a child? Did your parents take you? It's nostalgic.
yeah,
probably.
oh yeah, yeah.
I get it. I actually, believe it or not, I understand that. I get that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah.
You don't get most of the things that I say. Is that what you're saying?
But I get that. I bet we'll be on the same page quite a bit here. We didn't compare lists because we haven't even talked to
we'll
each other
see.
today. But we have a list here. We have a list that we want to share with everybody, and that's this. What Pat and I, what Coach Martin and Coach Stewart, or Coach Martin and Chris Stewart believe to be the top 10. Let's do 10.
Okay.
I don't know. We might not get to 10. We'll just say top attributes of a great coach. What makes a great coach? Particularly.
Oh, are we doing great coach or are we doing youth coach?
Yeah, I think so. Particularly high school and down, right? Like youth,
Honestly,
amateur.
it's the same.
Yeah, it's going to be the same. but there are some nuanced differences when you get up into the college and professional ranks. And so let's just say,
Sure.
from high school coaching down, what are some of the attributes that we believe to be characteristics of a great coach?
Yep.
So that's where we're at. That's where we're going today.
So I'll start her off.
Start us off.
Enthusiasm, passion. Yeah, you're agreeing. I think, we talk a lot of times, and we've talked about this in the past, about making the game fun.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of racks their brain about, how do we make practice fun? How do we make, the pressure situations during games fun? And I think a lot of that can come from the excitement and the positive energy that we show as coaches. And especially in a youth environment, kids feed off of that energy and that
Absolutely.
enthusiasm. And regardless of what the situation is, whether it's practice or a game, a good game, a bad game, the enthusiasm and showing your passion for the game makes it better, makes it a better experience, makes it more fun.
Totally. And it's got to be something that it's got to be what you are, not just something that you turn on and off, right? Like it's one thing to say.
It's hard to fake it.
Yeah, it's something you cannot fake. Like if you're not an enthusiastic person about the sport that you're coaching or about coaching in general, and all of a sudden you show up with this group of people that you're trying to lead and you turn it on right now and you're somebody different. I picture those. There's some certain denominations of preachers that you might have a conversation with them beforehand and they get behind the pulpit and they become a different person when they start to talk. And it's like, where did that voice come from, right? That's not who this guy is. Not to make fun of. Yeah, I guess I get.
Yep,
I guess I did make fun. So, well, just be who you are, right? But you can be passionate. Be passionate about what you're preaching, but be who you are, right?
I think that's. I mean, you drop number 2 right there, which is very important.
Number 2 for you?
Genuine. I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't have that in my list.
Oh.
But did you have be yourself?
I probably had something that is similar to that.
Okay.
Not really. Not really.
Okay. Well, I think that's important.
I mean, that's a totally
coach.
different point. Yeah.
Yeah, because your players see that. If you're trying to be someone else, if you're trying to, put up a front, they sniff that out very easily.
Yeah.
And you lose trust, you lose respect. So it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think you got to be yourself, and that lets those guys around you know that they know who they're following. They know who their leader is.
Right. Yeah.
It's important.
Good point. The number 1 I had on my list was this. Love kids. Right?
Yep.
It sounds weird when you say it out loud. You can say that, right? You can say, You could say
Yeah,
you
could
could say
definitely
love
say
kids.
it.
Yeah, you could say it generally. There's a comedian. There's a comedian. What's his name? Dimitri Martin. You listen to comics much?
Every once in a while.
Dimitri Martin says that there are certain phrases that you can say in a general way and they're normal, but when you get specific is when they get really weird, right? Like, for example, I love kids, right? I love kids. But it's when you say, I love 12-year-olds. That's you can't say that, right? You can't say
We
that.
live in a world now where, especially if you're talking to teenagers, they pick those words and phrases out pretty easily. We'll be having conversation during practice or at a banquet, any type of team event, and someone will say something, and then you hear a bunch, 5 or 6 teenagers start snickering.
They'll turn it into an innuendo of some sort that you did not intend for it to be. Yeah. So this, yeah.
But, that's the world we live in. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
there's nothing pure about life anymore.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It doesn't seem like it.
But
You
there
have to
is
seek
something
it out.
very
You gotta
pure.
Be careful about it.
There is something very pure about this point and the principle behind this point, and that is I, as a coach, I want to know that you truly love the people that you're working with. And if you're working with kids, hopefully you love kids and you want to see the best out of them, right? And when I say you want to see them be their best, I'm not talking about the sport that they're playing. I'm talking about life in general, right? Remove coaching from it. Like, let's say you're not coaching. Are you still a person that is doing something to support and help young people in general, right? I think, because we're talking about, because you might not be that kind of person and you can still coach. But we're talking about characteristics that we believe to be of the best coaches. And if you want to find a really great coach for an organization or for a team, find somebody that really genuinely cares about kids and loves them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Coach. I think it makes it easier to be a good coach. Could you be a good coach without having that attribute? Maybe. You could be effective. Mm-hmm. And you can be still a good leader, a good role model. But I think having that motivates you to be the best as you can be for those people that you're working for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big one.
What is that, 3?
That's 3.
All right. Number 4.
I'll say be resourceful.
Okay.
And there's a few ways you can do that. And another one of my points kind of is a piggyback off of this. But, I would say when I'm thinking about being resourceful, use the people around you that are available to you. So if you're coaching a youth team, reach out to the high school coach in your area.
Yeah.
Reach out to multiple high school coaches. But specifically reach out to your local high school coach so that you could talk to them about, hey, what are we not teaching, well enough? What are you seeing with our kids that come to you, that they're not as developed in other things that they are in this? And that gives them an idea, or gives you an idea of what you need to work on.
For sure.
Or what the philosophy is, or how they like to practice, or, anything like that. And you're not only doing your team a service, but you're doing those guys a service or girls, when they get into the high school program. Mm-hmm. So you're working together with that. You're actually making yourself part of that program.
Yeah.
And then 2, surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
The best people that you can. So look for those people. Don't just rely on your own knowledge and energy.
Yeah.
But use that of people around you.
Yeah, I've got a similar point, so I'll tuck it in there underneath yours here, so it's not an additional one. It's still number 4. But what I wrote down was delegation and collaboration.
Nice,
So be the kind. You're the kind of person that, like you said, you surround yourself with people who can do the things that you can't do, that do things well that maybe you don't do as well. Where you're weak, they're strong, and so those people you delegate things to them, and then just like you elaborated on, collaborate with everyone and anyone that you possibly can to be as effective as you possibly can. I think people who people who love kids and, understand the game that you're trying to play and coach, are the people that you want to surround yourself with on your coaching staff and collaborate with. However, and so in those two ways, those people are like you. However, I would say you don't want people that are like you and all those other, like whatever their strengths are, you might not be as strong. So find people that aren't like you, right? But like you definitely want people that love kids and and love the game, have a passion for the game and are enthusiastic. But also make sure that you got some different personalities there as well, and surround yourself. Be confident in surrounding yourself with those people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you use the word delegate, and I would say that goes hand in hand with trusting those people.
Trust is huge.
Empower them to coach, to take some of that weight off your shoulders, to use their skill and knowledge, to help the team.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches have a tendency to surround themselves with good people and then not allow them to help.
And they just wear a uniform and sit in the dugout, right? Or they go out and coach that base, or whatever sport you're playing. They're just around.
Sure. And sometimes, I think that I've experienced this in high school. Having discussions with my assistant coaches, they kind of like to teach certain things differently than I do. So there's some evaluation there, and sometimes some give and take.
Yeah.
Going, okay, if you want to control this, go ahead and control it. I'll let you teach it the way that you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'll give number 5. I said love kids first, and then number 2, I've got know your kids, know them, know your athletes. And so I guess to put one word on this, I would say empathy is a characteristic. Empathy is a characteristic of a great coach. Because here's the dichotomy is like you're coaching a team. We might be talking to some coaches that are listening to our podcast who coach individuals in individual sports. But for the most part, I'd say we're probably talking to people who coach teams. And so as much as we see it as our job to make them a team, to make all these individuals one and get them to mesh and get that chemistry working well to have success as a team, they're still individuals, which means they're all different, which means they have different learning styles. The ways that they rest and recover are different. Like we're finding that in the off season, in the weight room now, right? Some kids recover more easily than others. And so you might have a kid that only comes 2 times a week instead of 3. And you might need to understand why. Or maybe that's happening for another reason. Like maybe that kid has to have a job because he needs to help support his family, or maybe there's just all kinds of things. The different abilities that your kids have. What kinds of things motivate them? What's their home life like? What are their academics like? Those are the things like if you're just now hearing that and thinking of it for the first time, then I would say take a step back, evaluate because these should be regular parts of who you are as a coach. In my opinion,
sure.
And yours.
I completely agree with you. I had empathy on my list.
Awesome.
And I actually think we're segueing into another, but just sticking with empathy. Kids today are living in a world that's completely different than the world that most coaches today grew up in.
Yeah.
Different challenges. Some would say more difficult. I don't know about that, but it's definitely different. Mm-hmm. And you just can't say, well, this is how I was treated when I was a kid, so I'm going to treat every kid this way. You have to understand what they're dealing with. And that's true from I would say, a more holistic perspective and just an individual perspective or a daily perspective. Yeah. Something could have happened to a kid during school that ruins their day, ruins their attitude, ruins their energy. And as a coach, is our first thought, why are you stinking? Or I wonder if something happened to this person that is affecting them right now.
Yeah.
And can I help it?
And we're not, you're not saying that there's, that the other side of that is we're there to do a particular job, and and we see that we have a responsibility to help them to maybe categorize some things, and say, okay, now this can be your escape from whatever it is that you're dealing with, and let's learn how, because you're going to have to, the rest of your life's going to be like that. You're going to have to deal with things, on the side while you're trying to focus on being really good at something in the moment. And so let's use it to grow in. And so we get that there is a responsibility to teach them other responsibilities as well, even when life isn't going well. But still, it's valuable to have the perspective of being able to step back and see that there are other things going on in their lives, and each one of them, and it's going to be different for each one of them. So your team is a whole bunch of individuals. They're a bunch of individual persons.
Yep, and I think that approach is imperative for individual development and team development.
Yeah.
So it aids both. I'll jump back because I think there's a attribute that is important in what we're discussing here, and that's the ability to communicate.
Oh, yeah, I've got that too. So we'll make that number 6.
Okay, so
we'll keep it rolling.
Being able to communicate with your players, obviously on a one-on-one, as a team, ability to communicate with your assistant coaches, ability to communicate with your parents, ability to over-communicate.
Yes.
Right? So, there's communication so big and helpful, not just for development, but also to make the experience better for everyone involved.
Yeah. And communicate in a timely manner.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like I thought of that when you said over communicate. It includes communicating, when you need to communicate things, make sure that you're good at that. Like you think of it. It's your thoughtfulness. Your thoughtfulness leads you to, hey, I want to make sure that you guys understand this is coming up, or this is, we don't know all the details now, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know as soon as we do, we're going to tell you. And so just kind of alleviates the anxiety that everybody is having about whatever it is that they're wondering about, but also it alleviates all those texts and calls that you might be getting asking the same question over and over again as a coach. But
yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
and as coaches, a lot of times we want our players to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And, we'll sell them. There's never not a reason to communicate.
Yep.
How many outs are there? Don't assume everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
If everyone knows and you say it, it doesn't hurt anything. But at the same time, some of us sometimes forget to practice that ourselves.
For sure. Yeah. And communication includes listening as well as talking.
Oh, yes.
So,
yes, correct.
Yeah. So both of those. I have a very valuable one that's to me, and I'm sure it is to you as well. And this will be number 7. Driven to improve. A characteristic of a coach who is a great coach is someone who is always learning, a student of the game, but not
That's
just
what I have on my list. Student of the game.
There you go. Yeah,
absolutely.
And not just the game, but just getting better personally and as a coach as well. Like what kinds of things, that you're doing things as. Let's put it this way. If you're going to be a great coach, then you need to develop as a coach faster than the rate of your players, of your athletes, right?
Yeah.
Our kids have a lot of things at their disposal right now. Between TikTok, YouTube, I've got people now texting me, sending me videos, and asking me, "Hey, I'm watching this video of this guy giving hitting instruction, and I want to know if this is good. Like, is this gonna help fix my problem?" And they're being proactive. Like they're wanting to get better. They're wanting to do it. And if they're out there doing it, you better be in front of them, right?
Sure.
So that you can help kind of guide where they should be going as well. But success is a moving target, And therefore we got to keep evolving. We got to keep getting better, because it's not just going to stay in the same place. Just because you're successful yesterday doesn't mean you're going to be tomorrow. And so we've got to keep improving.
Yeah, you can't ever have something that you say, this is the way we've always done it, and it's all the way we'll always do it.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible in that. And definitely, as you start coaching, don't just think, well, this is what I was taught. This is, how we were coached when I was a kid or when I was young. Do your research, and like you said, you try to develop, try to improve. I would say continual improvement, a process of continual improvement, because the truth is you're never going to be at the spot where you really want to be.
Right.
But you can always get better. Every day you can get a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely agree with that, Coach. Speaking of the games that I had. And that's true in everything we've talked about so far. Everything we've talked about, our enthusiasm, our resourcefulness, the way that we communicate, we can improve those things, evaluate and improve how we do them, and what we need to do to get better at them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do that by listening to podcasts like this, right?
That's right.
Or watching podcasts like this, right? We're going to improve and get better at this stuff, this new venture we have. But not just ours. Like listen to podcasts, take notes, watch videos, go to clinics when you get the opportunity to go to clinics. Just do everything you can to evolve as that's just that in general. Evolve as the sport changes. All the sports that we're all coaching are changing. Rules are changing. And like if you're a basketball coach and you're a high school basketball coach and you came into the season, you have a pretty significant rule change regarding free throws, don't you? I mean, there is no longer a one and bonus free throw. And I gotta say this, Pat.
No longer exists.
Little caveat, a little tangent here. All right, I find this to be funny. Did you read the NFHS explanation for why they made one of the reasons for why they made this rule?
I think I did. I'm not for sure I remember what they said.
I remember.
In my mind, I have an idea of why they did it.
Well, there were different points, but one of the points was this, that they had done some kind of a study of injuries over the course of a number of years that take place, I know, you look confused, that take place during the one-and-one free throw where people are entering the lane at the same time, right? Now, I've got a question for you. How many years have you watched basketball games? As many as you can remember, right?
42.
As a little kid in 1985, I remember going to watch those Racing Southern Tornadoes, right? I cannot recall of all the basketball injuries I've ever seen in my life. I don't know that I've ever seen an injury during that time of the game. So that's point number one for me on this excuse or this reason.
I agree.
Point number two, are you not going to have boxing out did you see that? Yeah,
I did see that.
What's going on? Did we say something? The trigger is AI assuming that did somebody say congratulations?
Happy birthday thing?
I don't know. We'll find out if it ends up on the regular video. But here's the thing. Like on the second free throw, are they not going to be boxing out? Are they not going to be entering the lane?
So they're saying they're cutting it half or what?
Well, I don't know. To me, I tell you what it sounds like to me. It sounds like somebody had to come up with a reason. And they just said that. There's no way that there's any kind of study that shows that there's a bunch of injuries during that time. And even if that is the reason, it doesn't make any sense because there's still the second free throw. They're going to be boxing out. They're going to be entering the lane the same way. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's going to remove a lot of the drama, I think, at the end of games where you need to hit two free throws and you got one and a bonus and you missed the first one. Or you need to hit one. You need to hit one,
right.
And you missed the first one, and you get a second chance at it, right?
I thought it was a speed up rule, but
yeah, I think you're right there. I think it is a speed up rule because everybody wants things to go faster these days, right?
Of course. Where are we at? Number 9?
I don't know. Number 8, I think.
I think we're at 9.
Are we at 9? Oh yeah. Looking at the clock, we might be at 9.
I said love coaching.
just love coaching.
Just love it.
Yeah.
Just love coaching in general.
Love.
I think I've seen coaches that I feel like maybe they're lost their energy, their joy, happiness in coaching, and it has an impact, a negative impact on them and their team. So it's something that you need to enjoy doing. I definitely wouldn't recommend. Especially, you can't do it for the money at high school and below.
Right. Right. Most likely if you're doing it, you're doing it because you love coaching. There's a good percentage of people that probably are at this level.
Sure. Right. And I would even go. I think just make sure you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
It'll make you a lot better.
Yeah, because there are a lot of other reasons to do it. Well, nobody else wanted it, and so I had to take it. But I've even heard people say that.
That's a one-year thing. Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that has to happen, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, I totally agree. We all want to do things. You're going to be the best at things that you endeavor to do that you love. We all have to do things that we don't love, but it's those things that we really love and have a passion for that we're really good at. And I think, if you don't love it as much, I love the thought of, instead of searching for what you're passionate about and finding that and doing it, you could search for something you're passionate about for years and never find it, right? And then you're just wandering. I like the idea of, hey, wherever you happen to be right now, like maybe you're coaching right now and you don't want to be. Like you're one of those people that said, I stepped up because no one else did and I didn't want these kids to have to suffer. Well, right now, this is where your feet are, right? And so plant your passion. If you're a passionate person, plant it right here. And you might find a whole new passion, a whole new love for something that if you just make that decision. So number 10, really this is the last thing I had written down. I think I only wrote down like 7 things, but we've overlapped a lot. I said a great coach is disciplined. Is a disciplined person.
Very good.
And
that's a tough one.
I know, yes.
It's a convicting one.
It is. And so, and I want to make sure that I explain what I'm not saying. Like, this is not, we lead our teams with discipline, or we preach and expect discipline, right? That's not what I'm saying. Because I know somebody might say, oh yeah, I'm a discipline coach. I discipline my kids. Well, yeah, that's great, but that's not what we're talking about. This is you. This is me. You are disciplined. You lead the way of being a person who has a disciplined life. You have discipline in your life. And then your athletes can see that in you, and they imitate you. So you're organized. You're not going to ask them to you're not going to ask them to do something that you wouldn't do yourself, right?
Yes.
That you couldn't potentially do yourself, or hadn't at some point in your life done yourself. There are, and obviously we all do things. Like if you're 76 years old and you're still coaching and you're in the weight room and you're teaching your kids how to lift, you're not going to sit down there and do the same things that they're doing. That's not what I'm saying, right?
Right.
But you.
That's why I like when those junior high or the elementary kids come in, because you
can outlift them. That's right. But on some level, see, you might not be doing the same things that they're doing, but on some level, you are, right? On some level, you're still exercising. You're still eating good nutrition. Those are the that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really, I think it's sometimes difficult for kids to respect an adult who tells them, hey, you need to eat better than what you're eating. And then they're saying that as they're in the drive-through of McDonald's, right? Like, we just ordered and now we're waiting on our food. Hey, by the way, if you're going to lift and you're going to get you're hoping to make gains, you need to make sure that you're eating really well. Oh, thanks for my fries. Yeah, could I get some extra salt for that? No. Let's set the example, right? Let's set the example.
No, you're right.
And I feel better. Right. Like, if I get on my kids about the way they eat. I get on our players, our athletes about their nutrition, because I hate to see them working so hard in the weight room and knowing that what their nutritional habits are doing is actually fighting against all of the work that they're putting in the weight room. And so I'll get on them. I got behind one of them the other night to spot him doing a squat. I saw him, he was by himself, and I said, I got you. He went down to that squat and ripped a fart so long and so loud and so smelly. And I kid you not, Pat. And this is the part of the podcast where it gets a little gross. But you know a Big Mac when you smell it, don't you?
Coach. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying,
smell
though.
it all the time.
And I'm like, dude,
No,
that's a Big Mac. And he said, that's two, Coach. Like, okay. You know, you're working hard. Why are you putting that in your body? Right?
You know, it's hard, though. That's the biggest thing. And I think nutrition is the missing, I don't know,
It's the greatest missing element
ingredient
for the common high school player.
Yeah.
The ones that are elite, the ones that everybody looks at and says there's something different about that guy or that gal, right? You know what it is? Usually, it's the disciplined way that they eat,
Yeah.
and it's those habits. Those habits are different than yours.
Yeah, and creatine and like pre-workout and these things are getting
They're becoming very, very vogue.
Really, really
they're very
popular
trendy.
right now.
Yeah.
And I've been telling a lot of the athletes that come in our weight room, look, there's other ways to go about this. The picture that I paint to them is, look, if you have to take this stuff to get ready to work out, you're training your body to need that to perform at its best.
Yeah.
So really what you're saying is you're going to have to start taking them before games and practices as well.
Man, I said the same thing. I said the exact same thing the other night. Somebody asked me, I kid you not, last night somebody asked me about pre-workout, and that was my exact answer. That I never, like, even personally, I said I've tried it. There was a phase in my life where I took some, like a little, I don't know, I bought some. It was in a little container, really like strong, sweet blueberry, blackberry flavoring stuff. It had BCAA, and a bunch of sugar and caffeine and all that to get you jacked. And granted, I get it. I mean, I get it that it gives a boost of energy, which is then going to allow you to get more work done in the weight room at a higher level of intensity, right? And so then if you're working at a higher level of intensity, then that means you're going to make some better gains. But I kind of stand where David Goggins does on this. Like, he doesn't even listen to music when he's running for that same reason. He's like, if I need music to jack me up and motivate me to run, then I don't need to be out here trying it. I need the motivate. That needs to be from in here.
Because, and here's the thing, and I know you agree with this, in the weight room, you're not just developing physically, you're developing mentally as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. It's an opportunity when you go in there and don't feel the greatest.
Yeah.
And know that, hey, I'm going to do what it takes to get through my workout.
Because what happens?
Man, doesn't that happen during our games?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what.
That's a real life scenario.
What happens when you run out of pre-workout or you forget to take it and you come in and you have a bad workout? Are you tempted to make an excuse? Oh, yeah.
Sure,
It's no wonder I couldn't get that last set, the full 5 reps because I didn't have my pre-workout today. No, that's not it. It was down there somewhere. You just didn't. You have now become reliant upon a supplement to do what you need to be able to do.
Yeah, I think we're losing a bunch of endorsements right now, but maybe we could have someone on that
Muscle
could
Tech and all these. Yeah,
spin it a different way, or teach us something about it.
I would be glad. I'm open to it. Like, I mean, if
sure, me too. Yeah,
we're constantly learning.
I've done some research on it, and it's not like creatine. Some people are like, creatine's bad for you. Well, I don't think it's bad for
Actually,
you.
there is not. Creatine is. I mean, from everything that I've seen, there is not one negative study that's come back from creatine. Not one. You can't find a single scientist that gives you something that's negative about creatine.
Oh,
like,
really?
everybody
Well,
should be taking creatine every day.
Yeah, I'm not for sure I've seen a study one way or the other on it, but I know that a lot of the things that I read say that the gains that you get from creatine, you can also get
Oh, absolutely. Through
a
nutrition.
regular diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially true for high school and under.
Yeah, at that age. Right.
So
Yeah. How do we get on
that?
Yeah, it came off of discipline, but anyway, there's probably 5 or 6 more that we could talk about and give for characteristics of great coaches. Because everybody, you know, and you might, if you're listening, you probably have a number of different ones too that you jotted down. Let us know. I mean, a lot of times these episodes come from people who you know just ask us, and we start talking a little bit about okay, we'll make a couple lists. So yeah,
this was good. I enjoyed this.
good deal. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens here with the video.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll go ahead and post it as soon as we get it ready to go.
Good deal.
I got to go move my truck.
And eat lunch.
I do. I my lunch is waiting for me. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I have a bad
That's not your
experience
fault.
I can share with you about. Having to
You guys playing
lunch
basketball
that,
tonight?
so.
Jake playing basketball tonight?
Nope. Jake's off this season.
Oh, he decided not to play basketball.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been working out 4 days a week. Got a good workout plan from one of my good buddies,
Good deal.
and he's gonna
He's gonna be ready to roll
use
in the
winter
spring.
to prepare for baseball.
Nice.
Yeah.
I asked that
Playing
because
basketball.
December 1st is the first day that you're allowed to play
Yeah, Megs
games
is going to Gaia.
from boys, right? Men's, or
Yep.
high school boys. Yeah. Gaia.
Yeah. By the way, I heard you were at the girls' game the other night at Meg's and
I was there. Yeah.
didn't say hi or anything.
Nope.
It's cool.
Well,
no
you
big
know,
deal.
got to stay with our peeps over there.
Right. I guess even though there's a few of yours on our side,
There was.
one very important one trying to recruit. I've got videos of him and everything. So he's going to be heading to the States soon. So.
Hey, listen, the Megs girls team looks good.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They've got,
They're not deep.
well, they're a strong group of seniors. Their starters are all seniors.
Yep.
That's been in the program, has had a lot of time over the past 4 years and a good group of kids. And
Oh yeah, like 4 of those girls that were out there, I could have sworn they've been there for 8 years. I feel like
yeah, been there a while.
Yeah. I asked Kaylee. I said, "Didn't so and so play when you were in high school?" And she said, "No, but I'm pretty sure the year after I graduated." Well, because Kaylee's been out of high school for 4 years, so they couldn't have been,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I mean, a lot of those girls started when they were freshmen, and that's why they're so familiar.
Yep.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yep.
Hopefully they have a great year. I was actually impressed with Eastern's teams. The middle school teams are phenomenal, but the high school team played hard, man.
They're gritty, man.
Yeah.
And Hope Reed, baller.
Yes.
He impressed me a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right
Be a
on.
fun season for him.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Good seeing you.
Good to see you. Literally, see you. Hopefully we'll be back in the studio together next week.
Hopefully.
All right.
All right. See you, everyone. Thanks for joining us.